Well, good evening, everyone. We're starting to come towards evening now, and it's so nice to see so many faces. Obviously, people I know as well, and people I'm now getting to know for the first time. So, blood memory dance, lots of people say, what is blood memory dance? Why did you call it that? And all those sort of things. So that would be a really good starting point, I think, today. And the other thing that I really want to clarify is that I really work with art, starting with people as an artist. And for me to do this evening is a bit surreal because I'm all about the online work now, and I haven't actually had the opportunity to do anything where I'm actually touching and making physical contact, which is always a starting point for my work as well. So, there's been a lot of change. So if we go back to sort of 2016, when I had this amazing opportunity to work with One Dance UK on a mentoring scheme as a dance lecturer anyway in my main employment. And I decided I wanted something more. I love being a lecturer. I think I'd just returned from Germany. I'd set up a beautiful placement with my students, and we'd worked with links with Pina Bausch, and we'd done some amazing residency work. And I only had 8 students in higher education, and I took them all out there, and they were on a 2-week placement in a school, and it was fantastic. And when I got back, I thought, I feel like I'm missing out a bit, really. I really want to get back into being an artist again. So I actually, I left my role as a lecturer, and I started working with the mentoring scheme. And I was very fortunate from then to launch Blood Memory, because Blood Memory was about me and my boy, Oscar, at the time, who was only 5, and he's now 10. And it was really exploring me having, I'd already had Ethan as well, so I was returning to the studio as a mother, not just as a dance artist anymore. And it was all to do with that kind of having that understanding of where influence comes from. And Blood Memory was very important to me in respect to children having this instinct born into them, and I was very into that. And then I got loads of other dance friends and people who were recent parents who wanted to get back into the studio with me, and we just started doing stuff. And then Blood Memory Dance kind of caught on then, and before I knew it, I was applying for public funding to actually get some support financially. And it just literally went from something being very kind of like a hobby to suddenly being taking over my life, and me juggling as a parent of 2 children, and as keeping all my teaching roles and all my other responsibilities going. And then in 2018, I was very driven by the actual community that my children go to school in, which is Hawksworth Wood, and it's one of our poorest communities in Leeds. And I just approached the school, and I approached the local community and said, I do this, I'm not a lecturer anymore. Do you want me to do something in the community? Let's make everyone inclusive. Let's bring everyone together in a massive summer celebration. And then I got Arts Council funding to do that. I had no idea what I was doing at the time, because it was a very new thing, writing applications. And actually the local community had a funding called Have a Big Local, and they gave me a really great amount of money to set things up. And then from there I reached out to the school, and the school set up all sorts of little partnerships. And now I'm actually, Blood Memory is a partnership with Hawksworth Wood School, which is fantastic. And this just kept growing. And I was like, yes, I'm in with the community, and it was all going brilliantly. And obviously then the sort of the tour sort of came to an end. But before I go any further, I would really love to show you some little visual images of what I've just sort of explained, and I'd like to talk about those. So I'm just going to do that now. So here we are in the community of Hawksworth. I think we're doing a pre-performance here. As you can see, intergenerational cast as well as audience. And this is where we really started finding stories and telling stories. And the story I found was a lovely lady in her 90s who who served in the Land Army, and her name was Violet, and the rest just literally became a story about her. I got this fantastic crew of artists together, Bobak, James, and Georgia. Georgia wrote my music. She's a good friend of mine as well. She goes back way, way back with Blood Memory and Me and the Children. And it all just fell into place. And we were so, so lucky. We were asked to perform at Kirkstall Abbey. And as you can see here, we're performing. I think I'd taken a part of one of the slightly older cast members there, and I sort of stepped in, and I was in the intergenerational work there. And we were performing for quite a big audience, as you can see. And it was a massive surprise from school because they didn't know that I would ask them to all perform down there. And it was a big thing for Hawksworth Wood to go down to Kirkstall Abbey and perform. And as you can see, there's many, many people out there watching. If you just see this little fella at the back here in the jeans doing the floss, that's my son, Oscar. So, yeah, that was 2018. So he's grown up quite a lot since then. And there's Violet dancing with James. As you can see, we worked very much with the post-war. This was the VE Day celebration, and we made little paper hats, and we were flying little flags. And you can just see my other son just in the middle there, dancing away with the little baseball cap. That's Ethan, that's my youngest. So this is us. This is Bobak, Georgia, and James. James is a very, very well-known commercial dancer, haven't done very much contemporary dance. Georgia never performed live as a professional dancer or before. And Bobak's, again, a very well-known artist in his own right. And what a crew we made. I actually was Violet in the piece itself. You can see the banner at the back. That was made by the community. That was actually an embroidered piece of work. We hung Georgia's bunting that she had at a wedding. It was a very much, let's put this thing together and make it work. And it was absolutely beautiful on the day. And these guys are my amazing community dancers who have been with me since, well, way beyond. Some individuals I know are actually in this, are participants this evening. But in 2017, I really sort of launched something while I was working at Park Lane College as a lecturer, and that was evening classes, working with people who wanted to perform, and I got them involved in everything. So from our performance in Violet, we went into working in a different, we worked on a different steam, because firstly, I didn't receive the same funding the next year, which was a big shock, a massive learning curve for me. And I started working with Chris, and Chris and I have worked together for years in lots of intergenerational inclusive projects. And this is Lifelines. And again, Caroline, you're there in the background. You've done some amazing performances. And we were asked to perform at Bridlington Spa here. Again, the whole of Lifelines project was voluntary. But this work started with the people. This artwork we created was about the people. If I use Caroline as an example with her tango ballroom experience, she actually taught Chris and I how to dance in wheels as a duet, which was absolutely phenomenal and very groundbreaking for the sort of work we had previously done. 2019 comes summertime, we're out and about in Kirkstall again. I start working with a massive group of people who have not danced before in this sense. I had a couple of people in there who actually were working, they were part of a history and lecture group, and I went in and did a massive presentation and got them to come in and do blood memory work with me, and that was fantastic. I've got people in there from my Parkinson's group, because I also work with people with Parkinson's, and I had my professional dancers yet again. So it was a really beautiful mix of intergenerational. We worked and we performed over 2 days in Kirkstall Abbey last summer, which we hope to do again this year, but obviously things changed. Moving on, last year, what a fantastic opportunity when Keena and I finally made contact, and we were kind of asking questions about Blood Memory, working in Hull. How could this work? I came up with the proposal of actually coming and bringing our Peace Counting Planes, which was our new Arts Council funded work. Bit more of a struggle, 2019. Lots of disappointing funding applications, not received very well. And actually, towards the end, that's when it all started coming together. And Bilton Grange was our first port of call, which was a fantastic day where we got to meet these incredible people. And we just opened the doors of the Bilton Grange Church. I remember it was October, it was quite chilly, so we were all really well dressed, and we had children and adults of all ages and abilities, and they came in and we just took over that community for that day, and it was absolutely fantastic. They learned breakdance, they learned about the history of the war, they learned how to make a paper aeroplane, but then also make a paper aeroplane out of their bodies and fold each other. And it was a really beautiful, again, starting working with the people, the art, and working with those stories of those people. And it was just a fabulous day. We were then fortunate enough to secure a performance at the Pop-Up Theatre on Humber Street, and that was super. And that's when we really got to get some lighting in place. And we had Georgia, you can just see Georgia playing live in the background on her keyboard just behind James's leg there. And we really showed our Counting Planes piece as a performance theatre piece because there's a lot of script involved. We went back to the community of Hawksworth and worked with another person who helped us with the story of Violet. But this time this lady was in the forefront and she actually wrote a reading. And this reading was going to be included in Hawksworth Memorial event. And this was to commemorate all the people who died from that community, who we had included in our performance of Violet. Now, what happened is we had the opportunity to actually perform for these incredible regiment, and we had the Salvation Army there. We had all members of the council and community of Hawksworth. There was so many people in that church. I didn't get any photos because obviously it was respectful of the memorial, but I don't think I've ever been in a church fuller of people.